Ash Wednesday to you. Lent has begun. It is officially has begun. And as you can see on Facebook or YouTube, I do, in this case, practice what I preach. I went very early to get my ashes, as you can see. Those of you on Facebook know I did wash my face this morning. I did go and receive ashes. Hi, Jerry. You haven't gotten yours yet, I see.
I have not, but I have plenty of opportunities to do that today. I am in Phoenix, near you, but not in the same exact location today. But I'm hoping to catch probably a noon mass this afternoon at some point, so I will have my ashes before the day is over.
Well, I think you can just probably walk across the parking lot, because aren't you at St. Timothy's in Mesa?
I am, yeah, I'm staying at the rectory at St. Timothy's, and I thank Father John Greb and Father Shea for hosting me here. And I'm using their kind of just off the kitchen here to do the radio show today.
Oh, cool. It sounds good. Yeah. It sounds very clear. So Lent has begun, and I have to tell you real quickly, our friend Helen in Idaho, thank you so much for praying for me. We made this little deal. She was going to pray for me. I'm going to pray for her. Thank you, Helen. I need it. Just waking up this morning, knowing that you were praying for me has really helped, because definitely Lent has begun. It started off with a bang, as always. But we're talking today about Lent and beyond, Jerry. What Lenten practices have you, adopted long term in your life? You know, you started with Lent, a certain thing, maybe, giving up cussing or doing something else that is not good for you spiritually, and then you adopted it long term. It became part of your life. Lent and beyond, we're calling it today. And I'm very excited about this show, Jerry, because I think it's going to help all of us, especially for those of us that really haven't gotten their Lenten disciplines down yet. So this might be some good ideas for us.
Yeah, it will be. What we're talking about is in years past, maybe it was last year, maybe it was 10 years ago, and you said, for Lent, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a day in prayer. And then when Lent ended and Easter came, you thought, boy, that really helped me out. So I'm going to continue that. And maybe for years you've done that. Or perhaps praying a daily rosary, or maybe abstaining from some kind of food, or taking on, some other discipline, maybe an act of mercy, a volunteer opportunity, whatever it was. What was something that you took on? You thought, okay, this is going to be 40 days and then that's it. I'm back to doing whatever or not doing whatever. And then at the end of that Lenten period, you thought, this is something, this is worth hanging on to. So tell us, share that with us, because I think we'll all learn and get some ideas today.
Yeah, and we need that. We want to grow spiritually. We want to get closer to God together. So let's do it together by calling in at 1-833-288-3986. That's 833-288-3986. Call in and speak to Ryan. He'll put you on hold to speak to you for a few minutes, put you on hold, and then we'll bring you up on air, and then we'll talk about your Lenten practices that have become a part of your life. Jerry, I just want to share real quickly. Yesterday, I issued a challenge for everybody to go get their ashes very early in the morning so that they can have them on all day. That's what I was mentioning today, that I did get mine, just in case you're not on Facebook or YouTube. I did get mine, and the wonderful he was a Knights of Columbus that was distributing ashes. He gave me a nice deep cross, Jerry. Normally I get like a thumbprint.
I can see it. I can see it.
But what does that mean? What's the thumbprint mean?
I don't know.
I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Hey, you know what, too, Debbie? For those who are listening, maybe it's something that you've decided to do, or add to your life, or remove from your life, or take on this Lent. Maybe it's something that you have decided is going to be part of your Lenten practice for 2019, but you are looking beyond Lent. Maybe there's something this year you said, I think I'm going to try it for Lent. I'm going to add this to my life. I'm going to maybe eliminate something from my life, change some part of my life, and I really do hope that it sticks. Maybe you have something that you've just begun today and you'd like to share it. 833-288-3986.
Coming from New Jersey, and I always blame it on New Jersey or my Italian heritage, that, we can be very quick, with the mouth and responses and stuff like that. It's just the way I think we grew up. I don't know. But many years ago, Jerry, I had a wonderful priest that suggested that we really give up using colorful choice, not good words when you're trying to express your anger, cussing and stuff like that. And so years ago, I was so determined to like if I got angry, I wasn't going to say those horrible 4-letter words. I was going to replace it with a really good word. And I tell you, it did stick with me. And I have to say it was a very hard thing to do for the 40 days, but after that, it got easier and easier and easier, and then it became part of my life. And so I love it. That's one thing that he challenged all of us to do, and we took it on, and it really has helped me in my adult life. So I don't know if anybody else has had that too, or how about not eating meat for all Fridays for the rest of the year, not just during Lent, something like that too, Jerry.
Yeah, maybe that's happened to you. Maybe you took on a Lenten practice and it was tough. I mean, the thing about Lenten disciplines, it shouldn't be, I usually have, 12 cups of coffee, so I'm going to have 11 today. I mean, it needs to be something that we feel a little bit. Has there been something in the past where maybe you got a week or two into Lent and you thought, oh man, there's no way this is not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to keep this up. And then you had the grace and the discipline to keep doing it, and it has become a very, important part of your life. What about families? What do you do as a family to approach the season of Lent and try to incorporate things with your kids, your grandkids, or whomever your extended family is, that you have kind of an eye toward making these permanent in your lives? So here's the phone number. Got a couple lines open still at 833-288-3986.
Can I share real quickly, Jerry? We are going to be broadcasting together, physically together in the same room, which is something that we very much enjoy, especially if we have people that are watching the broadcast, and they're welcome to do so. We're going to be broadcasting from the Forum tomorrow in Chandler, so 2301 South Stearman Drive in Chandler, Arizona. Come join us. There's plenty of room for you, and we changed the topic, Jerry. We had a topic planned, but now we're going to do one that's related more to our current events, but also relates to Lent, Jerry. And we're going to be talking about sowers of discord, sowing the seeds of discord. And the Bible warns us against that and what that means. That's not of God. And when that's, just turn on the news and you'll see a lot of people trying to create division in this world. And so let's talk about that tomorrow. I think it could be a very healthy discussion, Jerry.
Yeah, I think it will be. It'll be good to be in the same location. Sounds like a great facility where your husband Marty works, and looking forward to that, and looking forward to the calls today on this topic as well. Corinne is first in Boston when we get back to the calls here. She's listening on the Station of the Cross. And we're asking you today, what previous year Lenten discipline has remained a part of your life, or is there something that you've decided to incorporate into your Lent this year and you're saying, I want to make this permanent? Let us hear from you at 833-288-3986. Always good to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio on this beginning of Lent for 2019, Ash Wednesday. And a couple quick things before we go to your calls. on Lenten disciplines that have stuck, that you have maintained as a part of your life routine, maybe from previous years. Maybe there's one this year that you're just determined to say, you know what, this is going to be more than 40 days. I want to get better in this area of my life, so I'm going to stick to it. A couple of things, Debbie. We have some great news. We're excited to welcome another new station, now part of the EWTN radio family. You and I know are excited to welcome and say hello to everyone listening on Catholic 540 AM Divine Mercy Radio. It's a 24-hour EWTN Catholic radio station broadcasting in Raleigh, North Carolina. And their great signal has the potential to reach thousands of souls with the truth of the Catholic faith. So many, many thanks to Cecilia Flannery and her great team at Divine Mercy Radio for their hard work and prayers to get this new station on the air. So again, welcome to all of our new listeners now hearing us on Catholic 540 AM Divine Mercy Radio, the newest member of the EWTN radio family.
That is awesome. I love that. I love the name of the station, Divine Mercy. Don't you love that? I love that.
I do. Always love welcoming new affiliates. And, of course, other programs. Just want to draw your attention to the Sunrise Morning Show tomorrow, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on most of these EWTN radio affiliates. It's a wonderful program. It's been on the air for many, many years. Matt Swaim, Anna Mitchell, and the gang. Sunrise Morning Show, 6 a.m. Eastern Time here on many EWTN radio affiliates.
Okay, we're talking about Lent and beyond. What Lenten practices, disciplines did you start maybe many years ago, and now they've been part of your life? They're part of your being. We want to hear from you. We learn from you. Please don't sit this out. I can't say it enough because it's a missed opportunity. When you step up and you call in and you share from your life experience, it helps all of us. We need you. We want you. So please call in. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. And speak to Ryan. He's waiting for your call. Okay, I'm ready. I've got my book out. I'm ready to take notes, Jerry.
Okay, to Boston, as we said. Corrine, thank you, listening on the Station of the Cross online to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Corrine. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing? Happy Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, you too. This is my first time calling, so I'm not, this is first.
Oh, welcome.
So I heard your topic and immediately was like, all right, I want to call. It must have been I'm a convert. I was a Protestant for like 20 years, 20 plus, and fell away from God and Christianity and everything. And then must have been about 5 years ago, I just started God was bringing me back. And one day, and I found out about 1060 because the sticker was on somebody's car, and so I started listening. And Joanne Bankovich-Williams, I think that's the new last name, sorry, she had challenged her, it was like in the middle of Lent, and she had challenged her listeners to try praying during the Lenten season, even if it was just 5 minutes. I think that's how she put it. And so I decided that I would give it a try, and it's continued. And I used to pray, obviously, as a Protestant, but now becoming Catholic, now I'm like learning so much. I've learned so much more. And just even like as far as the rosary, coming to understand Mary better, and just feeling, you know what, I want to be praying the rosary for my dad, who's fallen away Catholic, and other people that I know, and my church. And it's just changed. I think it's really changed and affected my life.
Right. Wow. Well, a couple things I wanted to say. You were referring to Johnette Williams and her show, and you said she challenged her listeners to pray. Say that one more time, because it cut out a little bit on my end.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she had said it was, I think, during the middle of Lent, and she had challenged her listeners on the station to do various things. And one of the things that she had said was, try giving like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of prayer to God a day.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
I've I've always struggled with it. I've done it, but I've always struggled with it. And I did it, and over the 5 years, it's progressed to where I don't need to worry about what I'm going to say. And during the daytime, so it's just Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, okay, real quickly, I just want to say thank you for being a first-time caller, and thank you for choosing this show to do that. We hope you find this a very pleasurable experience, and we hope you call again. The second thing we all want to say is welcome home. Welcome home to the family. How beautiful is that? I also want to say thank you to Johnette Williams for issuing that challenge to do that great habit, because when we replace all of, let's face it, we have there's so many things we can fall into bad habits in this world, okay? We can get into them very easily. Watching too much TV, being on the computer, eating too much. It goes on and on and on, and we all have it, okay? But when we start incorporating good habits like prayer every day, dedicated prayer, it builds virtue. It builds our character. It helps us grow. It helps us get closer to God. And that's a perfect example of what has happened in your life. Look how your life has expanded because now this practice has become, second nature to you. You're just doing it and it's growing and you're getting closer and closer to God. We were made to know, love, and serve God. Well, how do you know? How do you love something? How do you serve something if you don't know it? You got to have a relationship. You got to keep building it. You're doing it so beautifully. Way to go. Just say kudos to you. I just love your call, and I think it's going to help a lot of listeners today. Jerry?
Well, what I love about it is, and I know Johnette is, very, very prayerful herself, and I love the fact that she just said, take a little chunk here, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and that's the beautiful thing about the spiritual life. We need to take these things on, like Corrine, you did, according to what we call our state in life. If we're not a monk or a cloistered religious sister or something, I know religious sisters that pray every 2 or 3 hours. I mean, literally around the 24-hour clock. That's their calling. That's their life. That's what they dedicate themselves to. For the rest of us, God works with the 5 minutes a day. He works with the 10 minutes a day. Maybe that can be built up to 30 minutes. Maybe built up to a holy hour every day. So I think it's a very beautiful call, Corinne, and the fact that you have stayed with that, it is undoubtedly, as Debbie said, made your life, hopefully, we pray, so much better mm-hmm. and so much more blessed.
That's right. Anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, just, it's led to, I started probably about 6 months ago doing adoration once a week, and I'm now trying to learn how to do the daily office. So great. I attribute it to, definitely, and even early on when I became Catholic, I always was afraid to pray in public when I eat. And I remember once going to confession, and I had talked to the priest about it, and he had said, well, just ask God to give you the strength and to not be afraid. And so I tried it, and the people that I had gone with from my church, we had gone, we're a small community, and they saw me do it, and now whenever I go out with them, it just seems to be, like you said, second nature. Mm-hmm. So, that practice, I think it's affected other people in my community. Even at work, I say to people, hey, can I pray for you? Can I ask my community to pray for you? So,
you're being a Christian. Right. You're being a Christian witness. You're living out your baptismal call. You're helping others get closer to Christ. And my prayer for you is when you're finished with this purpose on earth, and God calls you home, he says, well done, my good and faithful servant. You were out there being Christ to others and getting others to heaven. Way to go. I love your call. I'm so glad you were first up today, because I think there's so many that are listening, right? Well, we know we have just tons of people listening and a lot of non-Catholics listening that when they hear your story, Corinne, they're going to say, wow, she did it, and look how it's benefiting her life. Maybe I should give Catholicism a try. I just love it. Please call again. You're welcome to call anytime, okay?
I will. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful Holy Lent.
You too, Corinne. Thank you.
All right.
Phone number is 833-288-3986 on this Ash Wednesday. What is something in a previous Lent from years ago that you may have incorporated that has stayed with you and maybe even developed and grown further like Corinne had in her life, or something that you're adding or taking on this year during Lent that you really want to make it go beyond the 40 days? 833-288-3986. All right, Hannah got in next in Birmingham, Alabama, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Hannah. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hello. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Back years ago, when I was in college, I decided to start saying night prayer from the Divine Mercy, and or not Divine Mercy, from
The Divine Office.
Divine
Night
Office.
Prayer. Yeah, Divine Office. Thank you. My words got all mixed up there. The Divine Office. And that year, I actually wound up meeting my husband, and he started praying it with me, and we've been married 12 years now, and we still pray it every night. It has become a cornerstone in our marriage, and I would say that it has deeply blessed our marriage and has caused our faith to grow so much. So that's one thing that I have done during Lent that has continued.
Yeah, 12 years. Wow, Hannah, congratulations on that. And you see God, how God has blessed you in that. And one of the really beautiful things about the Divine Office, some people call it the Liturgy of the Hours, you chose night prayer, which is really typically the last, part of the office that I know that priests and deacons are required to pray. Lay people are most welcome. A lot of lay people don't realize, Debbie, that they're welcome to pray the Liturgy of the Hours. And it's the official, quote unquote, prayer of the church. And it's called Liturgy of the Hours because Jesus Christ came into time. He entered time and space, took on our human nature. So he sanctified all of time by doing that. And so throughout the day, around the clock, we honor that sanctified time by honoring Christ with our prayer. And so there are different offices, different hours of the day that you can pray: morning prayer, afternoon prayer, evening prayer, midday, whatever. Right. And I've always loved night prayer as well, Hannah, because it's kind of short, but it's very beautiful way to end the day. Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. And Hannah, I just love the word you chose. It's been a cornerstone. You said that it's been a cornerstone of our relationship, of our marriage. So true, so true. So many of the saints said it. Fulton Sheen said it. You have to make God part of your marriage. It's got to be the focus, and it keeps you together. It builds the relationship. And I believe you said 12 years going strong. Hannah, this is awesome. But we need to encourage others to do that, because right now there are others right now that are thinking right now, okay, of just quitting their marriage. Are you kidding me? This is an awesome time to get each other to heaven. Anything else you want to say about the power of the sacrament of matrimony, Hannah?
I would say that my marriage has brought me closer to God. Like, I really thought I understood God's love, but then when I married my husband, it took my understanding of our relationship with God to a whole new level. And when you add prayer and you make prayer an important part of your marriage, how much it strengthens not only your marriage but your relationship with God is not something that I know how to describe in words.
No, beautifully. You did it beautifully. Yeah. Well, okay, Hannah, not to put you on the spot, but what do you say to others that are ready to give it up, just ready to quit? They can't do it anymore. They're done. They're out of love. We've heard all of the excuses. What do you say to those people? What can you give them some words of encouragement, maybe?
Absolutely. I would say learn each other's love language and pray together every day. Set a time aside, whether it's first thing in the morning or the last thing you do before you go to bed, or maybe you get together at lunch. But learn each other's love language so that you learn how to communicate with each other again, and take the time to pray together.
Amen.
That would be my advice.
Great advice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
Good stuff, Hannah. Thank you for the call from Birmingham, Alabama. And certainly our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to all of the people in Alabama and elsewhere that have been impacted by the tornadoes and everything. People who have lost their lives. Been a very, very difficult recent several days for many of those people. Thank you, Hannah, for your call to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Let's visit with Kathleen next, listening on Sirius XM 130 in Overland Park, Kansas. Hello, Kathleen. Thank you for your patience. Welcome.
Good morning. I just wanted to share that one Lent, when my kids were small, I had kind of gotten into the habit of just maybe when I had a couple of hours free, if they were at preschool or a mom's day out or something, I would go out and shop. And it wasn't out of anything that I needed. Obviously, I still had to go grocery shopping and, get clothing for the family and that. But I was finding that I was just recreationally shopping or boredom shopping or whatever. And so one Lent, I decided to give that up. And So I knew I would save money, and I knew I would accumulate less stuff. But what I wasn't expecting was that at the end of Lent, I realized that since I was staying out of the stores for the most part, I didn't have that that feeling of wanting or wishing or longing or feeling like I needed something or was upset because I couldn't have something. That feeling just left me because I mostly just stayed away from the stores, and so that's really stayed with me all these years. So I of course sometimes I go recreational shopping, but for the most part, unless I need something, I just don't go.
Right. Well, there's a couple things I just wanted to share about that, Kathleen, because I've had that experience too when I was raising kids, and you can hear that music. If you can just hang on a little longer, this just gives our affiliates a chance to do their own station breaks. So when we come back, Kathleen, I got some comments about that. I think it could help other moms and other folks when they kind of mindlessly do something just to kind of pass the time. We'll be right back on Take Two. Your show, Take Two, with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani, along with Jerry Usher and you. So we would love for you to call in. We're talking about Lent and beyond, what Lenten practices have now become a part of your life. There's plenty of time for you to get on the show. Here's the number to call, 1-833-288-EWTN. We're talking to Kathleen in Overland Park, Kansas. And Kathleen, I just wanted to say real quickly, you know, when you share that, I'm so glad you brought this up for all of us to listen to about the recreational shopping. You know, you were talking about dropping the kids off at school or preschool or something of that nature, and then going and kind of taking some time, just kind of zoning out, mindlessly doing something. It's so true. We do that because we need a little break. We need a break, okay? We take the kids to preschool, we take the kids to school, we drop them off, and we say, okay, what can I do for an hour or 2 hours? I know some other moms and dads go to the movies all by themselves and sit in a dark theater to take 2 hours just to kind of, you know, recharge their batteries. Okay, that's whatever you need to do. But we've all done that or been there, and I just wanted to say something to you, Kathleen. It goes back to what I said at the beginning with this idea of replacing bad habits with good habits. I belonged to a mom's group, and we used to do the exact same thing. We would drop the kids off at preschool, go recreational shopping. We'd either buy stuff we couldn't afford, or we wished we could buy stuff that wasn't in the budget, or we'd go to a restaurant, Kathleen, and we'd eat too much. So any which way you looked at it, when we got back to picking up the kids, we were deflated. We were just felt defeated, down. It wasn't an uplifting time because it was just kind of a bad habit, wasting time because we thought that's what we needed. What we started to do, Kathleen, is we very consciously started picking up books that we wanted to read, inspirational books, and we would drive to a park and we wanted to get some fresh air. So we'd drive to a park, we'd open up our car doors and start reading these chapters of different inspirational books. We do some really clever things like that. A lot of my friends used to go to adoration and stop by and visit Jesus. A lot of folks would pray the rosary and just go walking around because we have a lot of parks in Arizona. And it sounds like you do too in Overland Park. But Kathleen, what do you think about that? Replacing kind of mindless habits with really good habits that are going to benefit us.
Well, absolutely, because I think one of the things I was really looking for was connection with other people when my kids were small. And, I did connect with storekeepers and that, but that wasn't really the kind of connection I was looking for. So I think, joining a Bible study or even intentionally inviting a friend to lunch or coffee, or sometimes what I really needed to do was stay home and clean my house and do those things that are difficult to do when your kids are home and they're young. So
right.
Just filling it with those things that are necessary or that are really truly going to uplift rather than just, like you said, mindlessly filling the time. Yeah.
Well, every one of us has 24 hours in a day. What are we going to do with those 24 hours? Nothing wrong with spending a little bit of time, on ourselves or doing some of the things we want to do. But Debbie, I love what you said. Find creative, constructive, healthy things. And Kathleen, it sounds like you've done just that, and you're certainly no worse off for it. Probably a whole lot better off for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it. This helps a lot of people, Kathleen. We believe this when anybody steps up and calls Take Two, we believe that is a prompting of the Holy Spirit, and God is trying to reach other people. And we just know from the feedback we get from the emails, a lot of souls are being impacted by others, their experiences, their stories. And so, Kathleen, thank you so much. We hope you have a very blessed Lent. Thank you for sharing today.
Here's the number, 833-288-3986. About halfway through the show on this Ash Wednesday, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. A lot of time to get you on the program, talking about previous Lenten disciplines, something that you decided to incorporate into your spiritual life, your physical life, maybe some sort of ascetical practice or religious discipline. And of course we take things on and add things and subtract things for Lent, and we say, okay, once Lent is over, I can get rid of that, or I can go back to life as, quote, normal. But maybe there was something in a previous Lent that you said, that was so helpful to me, I'm going to keep doing that. Or maybe you've decided this Lent is going to be the Lent that you add something or take on some discipline, and you just say, I want to make this permanent, so I'm going to see how it goes during Lent and try to keep it going after that. So 833-288-3986. We've got Diane in Brighton, Michigan, listening to Ave Maria Radio on EWTN. Hi, Diane. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
About 20 years ago, I tried not drinking soda or pop for Lent, and I felt so much better that I haven't drank it since. So it was something that I really enjoyed drinking, with my lunch and that, and that turned into a huge long habit now. So, and I don't miss it anymore. So,
yay.
And so that was one thing. And then I also decided this was probably 10 years ago, I volunteered to drive for Meals on Wheels. It delivers meals to homebound seniors. Mm-hmm. And I was just going to do that for Lent 6 times. That was it. And I found out I really enjoyed connecting with the people, and I wound up volunteering for 4 years driving.
Wow.
So that was another, so it was it's always this idea of I'm only going to do it for 6 weeks, and then you find out this actually works for me. So it's been really nice. And one other practice that I still do now is I would not let myself listen to the radio until I prayed the rosary. And that's nice. Become a habit now, too. So I still get to listen to the radio, but I pray first.
Yeah. Okay, so Diane, couple things. Here you said you enjoyed that, drinking soda or pop, or depending on what part of the country you call it, soda or pop,
Yes.
drinking that soda with your lunch, and you stopped that during Lent. So that was probably a hard thing for you to do that first Lenten season, and now it's become part of your life. Well, we all know from the studies, not drinking soda like that, that can really help your body in many, many ways with the sugar content and everything, getting that out of your diet. So look how that's benefited you. The temple of the Holy Spirit, amazing. So now you are honoring your physical body. Look at now are into ministry. You said during Lent, doing the Meals on Wheels for the homebound elderly. Now it's become part of your ministry. So now you are living out your baptismal call. Diane, then you went on to say, you're not going to listen to the radio until you pray the rosaries. You're going to get in your prayer time. You're going to get in your time to commune with God, your time to reflect and meditate on God. That is amazing. Look what Lenten practices and disciplines have now done for the advancement of your spiritual growth. This is huge, Diane. I love it. Jerry?
Yeah, well, and again, this just what comes to my mind is we all know people who, volunteer and do things like she does, drives for Meals on Wheels, and different things like that, volunteer work, service ministries, like you mentioned, Debbie. And we think, wow, that person, just had this idea at one point to take that on. They've probably been doing it for many, many years. And we think of them as being maybe, maybe a little bit more generous or giving than we sometimes are. But really, they probably all started out the same way. We don't all just jump in and say, I'm going to take on this and this and this and this. But it really can start in a very simple way, like it did with Diane, and like with all of us. Just take it on a little bit at a time.
Oh.
She said, I'm going to try this for about 6 weeks during Lent. And Diane, you realized, you probably said, hey, I get a lot out of this too. And to see the blessing that this is for the people. Is that right? Yeah. So go ahead, Diane.
Yeah, every time it's like, I'm only going to do this 6 weeks. And that sort of made it easier to start because I already had an end date. I was going to be done at Easter, and I could handle that. And then it kind of turned around on me.
Wow. This is huge.
Yeah.
That's great. Keep it up. Keep getting more and more things, and just watch how you just have these huge growth spurts, in your spirituality, and it's amazing, and how much more you understand your relationship with God. It's incredible. Diane, you're on a great path, great journey, and keep it up. We just love hearing your story. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Diane. And Debbie, this gets at the heart of who we are. We are wired to be in communion with others and to be serving others. And in daily life, it's so easy to kind of get self-focused and concentrating on the things that I need to get done during the day or the things that I want to do. When we take that step out of ourselves, even if we say, I'm going to do this, it's a sacrifice, I'm going to do it as a penance, and then we realize, hey, wait a minute, this makes me more human. This makes me more of who I am meant to be as I am giving to other people, because then we get back. And so we see that interpersonal relationship. It's called communion. When we're in communion with other people, that's how we're designed to live our lives. And so Diana is a great example of how that has really come to be in her life. Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Kelly talks a lot about that in his books. Okay, there's an open phone line. You can still get on the show. Hurry, hurry, hurry. 1-833-288-3986. English got to the phone in San Antonio, Texas, on listening on Alexa. Hi, English. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. So I just thought I would share what I'm doing this Lent, and I have a couple of friends that are joining me so we can hold each other accountable. We decided we are going to try to make sure we say more positive things to our children than negative during the day, especially in the morning when we're crazy trying to get ready for school and we've got, just getting into the daily routine.
Wow. Okay. So
That's
I love it. Okay. So couple things. I love the fact that you enlisted your peers and your friends so that you can hold each other accountable. That is awesome. Way to go. Way to take on the Lent together. The other thing too is, may I suggest, please don't tell your children what you're doing for Lent. Okay. Let me tell you why. Children are very smart. They're very smart. And if you tell your children, this is what mommy's doing for Lent, after about a week, they're going to go, oh, we know it. We got it, Mom. You're just saying nice things because you have to. Okay, don't let them know. At the end of Lent, kind of do a survey with them and say, have you noticed anything differently lately? Have anything been feeling different? And see if the kids have picked up on it. I'm just curious. Would you do that little experiment for us, English?
Sure. That's a good idea. We'll try to add that.
Yeah, and let us know. You can email us at take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com, and tell your friends to do the same too, because kids are they're so smart. Kids will pick up on things so quickly. You know, how old are your children?
So I have an almost 12-year-old, almost 9, and 3. And it's easy with the 3-year-old. He's at this cute age. Everything he does, it's just easy to comment positively. But when I'm stressed in the morning, my older kids really get the brunt of it. And my profession is in music therapy. And during a music therapy session, I would never think to not say positive things to my clients. Like, that's constantly in the back of my mind. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm not doing this with my own kids. And I really want to change this and continue it, of course, the best I can throughout the year.
Right. Well, I want to share something real quickly because I'm sorry, Jerry. I just have to say this. Right. I did my master's thesis in adolescent spirituality, and your 12-year-old. That's one of the reasons why I said don't really share with them what you're doing for your Lenten practice, and then survey them and talk to them after Lent. I believe your 12-year-old will give you some really great feedback, and that's going to encourage you and affirm where you're at to keep going. English, I feel very confident your 12-year-old will step up to the plate and share some really good information for you.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, English, for the call to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Appreciate that. I think an additional fruit of that, Debbie, is going to be, it's tough for kids. Young kids today have it really, really tough, and they get discouraged with all the demands, they have, academic and family and all this stuff, and their peers and the peer pressure, and we hear about all this stuff. And just to build them up is going to be so important, and I think they are going to then take that positive, sort of, message that they're getting at home, which is going to be a great gift of love from English and her family, and they're going to be able to then be a positive influence among their peers as well. And it's just it'll be a ripple, like the stone in the pond, Right. So that this is what young people need. This is really going to be, I think, very, very fruitful and effective for them.
I agree. And the other thing too, Jerry, and you've heard this said, that when you give a negative comment, especially to a child, they absorb that. And it takes 100 attaboys or attagirls to remedy that. So you really have to make that conscious effort, Jerry, to be positive and constantly affirm our children, especially when they're doing good things or showing good things or demonstrating good things. It's time we do highlight that, especially in this world we live in, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, we are able to take your comments via email as well at take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. And our friend Suzanne from Ireland. Hello, Suzanne. Good to hear from you. She says, hi, Jerry and Debbie. Suzanne here. For Lent, I am giving up meat on all Fridays, not just for Lent, but we'll continue it. Also, I am saying a prayer to St. Michael the Archangel, praying for you both, Suzanne in Ireland.
Thank you, Suzanne. I love that. I love that. St. Michael prayer. You know how I love that prayer. Okay.
We will take the prayers by all means. And this is from Cheryl via email. Dear Jerry and Debbie, can't usually call, heading out to Mass at 12:10. But years ago, she says, it took 3 Lents for me to get off and stay off caffeine pop. She calls it pop. She says, I stayed off for 3 to 4 years, but since I don't drink coffee or tea, I have gone back to it. For me, Lent is usually a failure, but I keep trying. It is fun to try, and it is always a blessing because I am trying. And she
love it.
Includes, this year it is quiet time and journaling, prayer more than giving things up. Love and God bless, Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl.
Way to go, Cheryl. That's awesome. Do we have any more emails you want to share?
There are some. I'm going to try and take a look at them.
Okay. You want me to go? Let's go back to Lucy. Lucy's in Flint, Michigan on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Lucy. Thanks for waiting and welcome.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I was just reading through the diary of St. Faustina, and I was kind of really helped as far as what to do this Lent by a suggestion that our Lord had made to her that she didn't really need to give up a food item or anything like that, but whenever she had that craving or need to eat, to say prayers for the people in purgatory. So, I struggled with cravings myself, or eating that extra portion, or maybe snacking when I didn't need to. So I thought, okay, so in the Lord's Prayer to let me know when I supposed to eat, some take God at His word that give me my daily bread. But when I start to have those cravings or think I want to get up and head to the refrigerator or take a break to eat, now it's going to prayer for those that are in purgatory or for our church right now. So I just thought that was really helpful for me, and I thought your listeners might find it also useful.
Yeah, absolutely, Lucy. I think creativity can be very, very helpful during Lent. And, I just love the fact that, we're not, it's not so much a matter of rules and regulations and this formal, strict kind of thing. We can apply strict things to ourselves. But like you said, we often, I don't know, I remember growing up, my mom used to say, don't stand there with the refrigerator door open, because we'd get kind of bored and think, well, maybe I'm hungry, and just go kind of look in the fridge. So the thing about Lent is it can be very, very beautiful, spontaneous little disciplines, acts of mortification. When we want to, in between meals, go look in the fridge and maybe just grab a couple bites of something, say, you know what, I'm not gonna do that right now. Or instead of grabbing, some chocolate or something, have a banana or an apple. Or like you said, pray for the souls in purgatory. Our Lenten disciplines can be things that we engage in throughout the entire day, and they don't have to be noticed by anybody else. They don't have to be big and grandiose, but they can be very, very profitable to ourselves and to others when we offer them, of course, in love to Jesus united on the cross. So, Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, I just think that is just so amazing when you said that, because we all struggle with cravings of some in some form or another. And I tell you what, that has impacted me greatly, Lucy. I mean, it hit me real deep into my soul. So I'm taking it on as well. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
I love Faustina. You got to love St. Faustina. That's why John Paul II loved her so much. Okay.
All right, thank you, Lucy, for the call. Appreciate that. Just want to remind you before I go back to more of your calls, EWTN has been in publishing now for some time, and brand new from EWTN Publishing is a work called Grace and Truth, 20 Steps to Embracing Virtue and Saving Civilization. And it's by Father George Rutler. He highlights 20 Catholic teachings that are essential to living an authentic Christian life, showing how the Church's perennial wisdom can remedy the gravest ills of our times. We get discouraged, we get sometimes despondent, even get close to despair as we look around the Church and the world sometimes today. But get a hold of this work by Father George Rutler, Grace and Truth, 20 Steps to Embracing Virtue and Saving Civilization. It's available now at EWTNRC.com. That's the religious catalog.
Okay, I love it. Let's go to first-time caller Jennifer in South Carolina. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for waiting and welcome.
Hi. Yes, hi, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you.
Hi, Jennifer. Yeah.
Hey, okay. I'm giving up for Lent cursing. I heard Debbie, and I've never called before, and I'm 50 years old, and I've lived in South Carolina, but I'm from Jersey. 19
so
and
you
a
can
half
relate.
years. Oh, my word. And so cursing just rolls off my tongue. It's like the back of my hand. But I don't say the Lord's name in vain, because I know that's a commandment, and I love the Lord and all of that. Right. But, I mean, it's bad. So I need lots of prayers. That's why I'm calling, because I have been prompted by the Holy Spirit to give that up, and it's going to take lots. It's going to be miraculous. Short story.
Okay, so a couple things, Jennifer. This is how I did it, and you're referring to cussing, because you're not cursing, you're not taking the Lord's name in vain, and that. So cussing and like those really kind of choice words that really aren't good, and they're not life-giving words. They're really words that are really not of God. And so here's how I did it, and it has changed my whole entire life, and actually my outlook on how I relate to other souls is because we are so fast when we speak, especially being brought up in back east in New Jersey, we talk very fast. I had to learn how to slow down. So what I would do is before I would respond to anybody, even at work, Jennifer, even with my family, I would take a step back and I would either say a Hail Mary or an Our Father or even a quick Glory Be, or I would make the sign of the cross, or I would say, Jesus, I trust in you, before I responded. And I found that I just believe it was the grace of God that the words that came out in my response were very, they were beautifully spoken or chosen, I should say, from my vocabulary, where I never would have done that before. So I would just say to you, my advice would be, when you're going through Lent, you got to really take a step back every time you respond and do something that gets you to remind yourself that God is helping you through this, and you're going to glorify God with your words. So I don't know, you're probably doing that already, Jennifer, but if not, and if you fail at it, don't, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. By the end, by the Triduum, by Holy Thursday, you're going to be so amazed at how far you've come. What do you think?
I love it. Yes, and I'm an extrovert. I'm a fast talker, and I don't think before I speak. I've been told that plenty of times.
Right, me too.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
I know what my problems are.
Well, and I was just going to say, Jennifer, you have identified something that you want to work on, and that is so pleasing to God. God shows us these things, and sometimes we can just, blow them off, turn away from them, and say, you know what, I'm not going to work on that. But you know what, you've identified something here. It's something so many of us have had trouble with. Maybe many people still do have trouble with it. But the fact that you want to take it, little step at a time, you may cuss here and there occasionally during Lent, but as Debbie said, don't get discouraged. Just say, Lord, okay, Lord, I'm human. We need to profit from our faults, as St. Francis de Sales would say, and not get disquieted over them, but just simply say, Father, I repent, I ask your forgiveness, and in peace move on. And I think, like Debbie said, come Easter, you're going to be a different person, I think. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to say some special prayers of encouragement for you, Jennifer. Just drop us an email if you remember to do so at take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com on Holy Thursday. I'd love to know just how your Lenten journey went. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My sister from New Jersey.
There you go.
I love it.
Transplanted to South Carolina. Okay, Kathy, I think we'll wrap things up in Houston, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Kathy. You'll probably be our last caller. We're glad we got to you. Welcome.
Oh, yes. Well, just some years ago, I decided I would do the morning prayer in place of some priest that mightn't have got around to it, And then I started doing that, and then my husband joined it. So we've been doing it years ago, really. And we're doing it for so many years. And so we continued, and then he just suggested that we do the evening prayer. So that's what we've been doing now for many years. And I just thought, well, if the priest didn't get around to saying his prayer, that it was fulfilled for him, That's what we did.
Wow. Kathy, that is beautiful. And I love what you said. You're offering the Liturgy of the Hours for a priest or priests who don't get around to doing that. And priests are required by, I think it's canon law, certainly by virtue of their ordination, they are required to pray, as they're morally capable. Some things can take them away from praying one of the, offices during the day, but they're required to do that, priests and deacons. And Debbie, I have known priests, and you probably have as well. I knew a priest one time who just kind of went through the whole day and then just stacked them all back to back to back to back to back in the evening before he went to bed. And I thought, that's not the spirit of honoring the office Liturgy of the Hours. And there are a lot of priests who maybe try and justify it by thinking, that they are too busy, or they maybe have just grown slack and just don't do it. So this is a beautiful, beautiful gift, an act of charity that Kathy and I believe she said her husband are doing.
I agree, Kathy. Way to go. Thank you for sharing that with us today. What an amazing way to close out this discussion on Lent and beyond, making your Lenten practices part of your daily routine for the rest of your life. And so you can grow closer to God. That's what we're on the road to, holiness, on the road to sainthood. So, Jerry, tomorrow we are going to be physically in the same location, broadcasting the show in Chandler, Arizona. Folks, if you want to come out and meet Jerry Usher, I live in Arizona, so you probably have met me before at the parishes. But Jerry, you can meet Jerry, South Stearman Drive in Chandler at the Forum for tomorrow's show at 10 a.m. Get there a little early, and we'd love to visit with you. We're going to be talking about sowing seeds of discord and how the Bible warns us against that. And, just turn on the news and you'll see it's happening all around us. Jerry?
All around us, indeed, and we can have a positive impact on that and help to dispel some of that. So, do be with us tomorrow on the show. A blessed Ash Wednesday to you all. Lent is underway. Let us do our best to open ourselves to the working of the Holy Spirit in our lives and make it the best coming 40 days that we can. Have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.